Hello, my dear student. Today we will talk about tens and hundreds. Are you ready to see this lesson? Let's understand it together. You ready? Okay, let's start. First of all, if we have this number, we have 2.58. Today we will learn how we can read this number, okay? And we will know what is the name of the place of each number of that. So we start from the decimal point. This point it's called decimal point, okay? The number that after the decimal point is the normal number that we know. What's the normal number? Like the first one is ones, then tens, hundred, thousand, and so on. But before the decimal point, we will have our new lesson today, okay? So here the decimal point. The number that after the decimal point is called ones. But before the decimal point, the first number here is called what is called tens, okay? And you will see that it's end with th, okay? So don't forget. Then the number that before it's called hundredths, okay? So when we have decimal point, the number that after the decimal point is called ones, but before the first one tens, the second one hundredths, okay? Okay, my dears, let's see the first question that we have today. Here he wants from you. Write a fraction and the decimal for each shaded part. Then write the fraction in simplest form. So let's see how we can write a fraction first. Okay, if you look carefully, you will see that each line of that represents one. Okay, so let's make fraction. In numerator, we will write the number of the shaded parts. So let's count to know how line that shaded. 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 shaded parts. So let's write 3 in numerator. And in denominator, we will write the number of the total. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10. So that will be 3 over 10. Okay. Can we make it more simple? 3 over 10. Can we write it in another simple way? No, because there's nothing that we can make a divide on 3 and 10. So that's the simplest form. Now let's write it in a decimal. How we can write it in a decimal? You will make 2 steps. The first one, we will write the number in denominator. What's the number in denominator here? We have 3. So let's write 3. Then let's put the point. Okay. If we have 10, we will put the point after one decimal number. If we have 100, we will put the point after 2 decimal number. Okay? Here we have 10, so let's put the point after one number. 1. We will count from here. 1. Then we will put the point, and because this is empty, we will put 0. So here it's 0.3. If you want to write this number in letter, you can write it in 2 ways. You can write like this: 0.3, or you can write it like this: 3. Because here we have 3, so let's write number 3. And tell me, what is the place value of number 3? It's tens, so that will be 3 tens. So you can write the decimal number in 2 ways, that or that. Choose whatever you like, both correct, okay? Let's see the first one. Well, if you look carefully, you will see that each line contains small squares. And if you count these small squares, you will see that each line has 10 squares. So that's mean each line represents 10, not 1. If you let's get back here, it's just one line, so that's 1. But here each line contains 10 small squares, so each line represents number 10. So here we have 10, 20. Okay, let's make the fraction. Let's make it. So let's count how many shattered parts do we have here. We have 10, 20, 30. I will chat it for you, okay? Don't confuse. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Okay, but here it's not complete, so let's count. 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77. So here we have 77 shattered parts. Over the total, what is the total here? We stop on 70, right? 80, 90, 100. So that's 77 over 100, okay? Okay, if I want to write this fraction in decimal way, how that? Super, I can hear you. We will write the number in the denominator first, so let's write it, 77. Then let's see, it's over 100. Over 100, it means that I will put a point after how many? After 2. So let's count 1, 2. So we'll put a point here and we'll put 0. Okay? And if I want to write this number in letter, it will be like this. We have two ways to write it. Point, 0 point. Don't forget the 0. We can write the 0 or ignore it as you like. 0.77. Okay. You got it? Or we can write it like this. 77 here the last number is 100, so let's write it 7700. Okay, you got it? Let's continue. Now he gave you a fraction and he wants from you to write each fraction as a decimal. It's so easy, like we did before. We will do it here. What we gonna do here? I can hear you. We will write the number in the denominator, then we will put a point. It's over 10. That means we will put a point after how many? After 1. So 1. So we'll put a point here, and because here it's empty, we will put 0. Okay, so that will be 0.2. Let's see the next one. Here we have 2 over 100. How we can write it? Let's write the number in the denominator. Here it's 2. Over 100, it means that we will put a point after 2 decimal places. So let's count 1, 2, and we should put a point here. But miss, here we have empty place. So what should we do? We will put 0. Okay, and here we will put 0 too. So that will be 0.02. Okay, let's see the next one. Here we have 96 over 100. We want to write this fraction in decimal way. So can you tell me how we can write it? Come on, I'm waiting for your answer. Super, I can hear you. Great job. We will write the number in the denominator. That's 96. And in the denominator, we will see that it's over 100. That means we will put a point after 2 decimal numbers. So 1, 2. We will put a point here, and we'll put 0. Okay? Okay, now he wants from you to write as a fraction and a decimal. So he give you the number in letter, and he wants from you to write it as a fraction and a decimal. Okay? First, let's write it as a fraction. Let's make the fraction. 2 tenths. Okay, how that? Well, let's write it in a decimal first, then let's write it as a fraction. It will be much easier. 2. Here, number 2. Tenths. It means that we will put a point after one decimal number. 1. So we'll put a point here, then 0. If we want to write it as a fraction, the point here after one number, that means it's over 10. And the number that we have here, we will write it in denominator. So that will be 2 over 10, okay? And if you want to write this fraction in simplest form, in another sample, we can, because here we have 2 and 10. And 2 and 10, we can make it divide 2. And to make any fraction more simple, you must make divide on the same number in numerator and denominator, okay? So here 2 divide 2 equal 1 and 10 divide 2 equal 5. Okay? So that's here we write it as a fraction and here as a decimal, okay? Let's see the next one. Here it's 15 hundredths. Let's write it as a decimal first. 15, so let's write number 15. Hundredths, it means that we will put a point after two decimal numbers. So 1, 2, then we will put a point 0, okay? Now let's write it as a fraction. We will write this number in numerator, and in denominator we will write it's over what, 10 or 100. The point here after how many? 2 numbers, so that means it's over 100. So that's 15 over 100. You got it? If he asks you to write it in more simple, in simplest form, you will ask yourself first, 15 on 100, these two numbers are able to divide on the same number or any number? Come on, let's think about it. Yeah, we can make it divide 5, right? If you want to make it more simple, we will make this step. If you don't want, we will leave it like 15 over 100, okay? 15 divide 5 equal 3, and 100 divide 5 equal what? It's equal 20. And we cannot make it more simple after that, so the final way is 3 over 20, okay? Let's see here, it's 9900. So let's write it as a decimal first. 99, so let's write 99. Hundredths, it means we will put a point after two numbers, 1, 2. Okay? And if we want to write this number as a fraction, let's make fraction. We will write this number in the numerator, 99, and it's the point after two numbers, so that will be over 100. Let me ask you a question here. Can we make it more simple? No, we can't, because there is no number that we can make a divide in numerator and denominator, okay? Okay, now let's solve this question together. Peter's house is 0.78 miles from school. Write the number in words. So he wants from you to write this number in words. So we can write this number in two ways. Okay, I will write the two ways for you, and you can choose whatever you like. The first one, let's write the number in the order. First we have 0, so we will write 0. Then we have point, so we will write point. After that we have 78, so let's write 78. That's it. Or we can write it like that, 78 78 what? Tens or hundreds? It's hundreds. Super. get it, my dear? Now habibi, we finish our session. I hope you understand the lesson. So bye and see you next time inshallah. Bye.